If you believe that if she wins, you lose, that belief will cap your expansion every fucking time. It will cap you to wherever you're at right now. I promise you that. Welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, the podcast where we debunk the eat less, move more, shrink more mentality and focus on what really matters, which includes your relationship with your body, food, self-worth, and the behaviors that align with all of those. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, licensed therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. At the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, we believe what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. So let's have a conversation about that. Before we get into today's amazing episode, I want to make sure you've hit that follow button wherever you're listening to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. Also, if you like to listen to this pod on the go, make sure you have those downloads turned on. As always, I love a 5-star rating and review, and I want to thank you for your continued support. Now, let's get into the episode. What is up, gang? Welcome back to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. I'm so excited you took this time out for yourself to learn something about your physical and mental health. So congratulations to you. And since it's National Women's History Month, I am focusing this month's theme on things that are so specific to women. Whereas we talk a lot about things that are specific to everyone. I have male listeners who listen to us, but I think that I wanted to dive into specific topics. Now, for my male listeners, you can still listen to this and learn a lot. You're going to have an upper hand that others do not. So the topic today has been sitting in my queue for some time. And when we had originally changed the format to me doing one episode every week and then sprinkling in our interviews, so you guys will see where we had told you before it'd be one episode per week and one live stream. It's actually one episode per week, and every other week is an interview and a live stream. We'll figure it out. We had moved this idea kind of down the line because, other things kind of took precedence. But being that it is a month focused on women, I thought it was time. And what we're talking about today is trusting women again. Healing your rivalry, your comparison, and your secret animosity towards other women. I know. Let's fucking go. So if you're someone who's ever walked into a room and immediately kind of scanned the room for the most attractive, the fittest, that's one that I have, the woman who looked the most successful, the woman who this is another one I do, who has the best outfit on, because I want to be that person, but then always I'm going to find someone that has a better outfit than me. I know in those moments, I'm not doing that because I'm a shitty woman. I'm doing it because my body just naturally does it. It's crazy, right? I have admired women and then felt threatened by them at the same time. I've caught myself thinking it's not that I trust a lot of women. I've actually done a lot of work on this because what we're going to talk about today is where does this shit come from? And I know why in certain situations, if a woman is in a role of leadership and is passive aggressive, I get fucking triggered. I am triggered. I don't trust her. I am always on the defense against her, right? And for all of you, this is not just, things that have come up from our past and our relationships to the females who brought us up in the world, but also online seems really, really divided. You've got trad wives, you got boss babes, you got soft life, you got career, executives. And it's this almost comparison of which is better, right? Which is the best woman. So we're talking about that today. We're talking about female rivalry, a concept that was given to me by Ira, my assistant, secret animosity, and trusting women again. So when we do this, you guys will learn that you start to stabilize your own identity and who you are. And that is so important. Female rivalry doesn't look like it did in middle school. Okay. It's not the Mean Girls burn book, talking shit. Well, maybe we might talk shit, but it can look very, very polished. It looks like congratulating someone while something tightens in your chest at the same time. It looks like scrolling. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this. Scrolling and trying to, seeing someone be more successful on social media, especially if you're an entrepreneur and that's where you get the majority of your business, or if you had a bigger following, obviously that could be beneficial to your business. It's scrolling and seeing like what someone else is doing, getting pissed because they're teaching something. This is one thing that I struggle with. I get really triggered when I see someone teaching just the old school diet culture bullshit and they have thousands of likes and follows. My social media, you guys, if you're listening, I know that we have a good following on this podcast. If you guys would like my reels and like share them to stories or save them or comment, it would be huge for me. But I don't get a lot of play on that. So then I get upset because I'm over here thinking like I'm teaching the real work, right? But no one's promoting it. Like I can only teach it, and if no one promotes it, then I get upset. And then I see these women who are just like calories in. There's one woman who she irks the shit out of me. And I also know some things about her because some of my coaches used to work for her. And she's a fucking fraud. But see how I'm getting upset. Anyways, it looks like that. It looks like what I just did. Distancing yourself from women, right? Because they activate that insecurity from you. And something that I had mentioned that is a new concept to me that I put in my notes was that idea of secret animosity, which is resentment that you have for these women that never is spoken. You smile on the surface, you congratulate them, but there's like a terrible tension underneath. It's your comparison, your insecurities, and it's masked as this moral kind of superiority, as in like, no, I'm better than you. You cannot do better than me. You will never do better than me. And all of those things, like that idea of better thanness is a protective mechanism. What I like to explain, and I've said it on this podcast before, is the difference between better than and less than is really just you seeing yourself as the problem or you seeing everyone else as the problem. Both of them are triggers of unresolved trauma. So let's talk about that. Where does this come from? This idea of secret animosity, of comparison, of being triggered by other women. This is a very layered concept where we have a lot of, like an onion, a lot of layers to it, a lot of variables that contribute it. And the first one is going to be a scarcity conditioning. Okay. Conditioning meaning how were we raised? Many of us were raised to believe that there was only room for one of us, right? Especially at my age. I'm 43. And a lot of you who are listening to this are between the ages of 35 and 55. Like we learned that there was not room for multiples of us. There was the smart one. There was the pretty one. There was the successful one, right? I think about cheer and dance. There was one president of our dance team. There was one captain of our cheer squad. And it was almost as if I know for me, like I was going to be that person and that everyone knew that. And they knew that. And only one girl tried to compete against me for the dance president, the captain stuff. No one competed. You just were like, she's the one. And listen, I was glad no one competed because I hate competition. I hate losing. But you know what I'm saying? Like only one, and it's that one. And when we have a similarity with someone, right? So obviously I'm in a field where there are a lot of people in this field, right? If there's a similarity to someone, it feels like a threat. And I'm going to give you guys an example. This is a funny example. I did an in-person kind of event for one of my referral partners here in Phoenix. And one of the women that I was talking to was explaining that she had gone to like life coaching school and was certified and this and that. And I instantly felt myself get defensive, and not only defensive, but also being like, what do you know? Like, I have a master's degree, and getting very better than when this woman was most likely just trying to relate to me. That trigger started to come up in me. Like it was arising in my body. Now, thank God I recognize it and I'm able to reframe it and be like, she's just trying to connect. You don't have to be defensive. You don't have to protect yourself. But a lot of you don't realize that that's happening. But similarities to you, whether it's other executives, other women in the entrepreneurs, other women in your space, you feel like it's a threat. And there's this concept that if that woman wins, then you're going to lose, right? And that is a terrible way to relate to other women. And when we think about men, they don't have that. Like, they're like, oh yeah, my friend, he's also a blah, blah, blah. And oh, my friend, da, 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 and they're all in the same industry and they go golf together and everyone's fine, right? So that is number one, this scarcity conditioning that there is only one slice of the pie. The second is your attachment. Your first relational mirror was most likely a woman, your mother being one of them. If that relationship felt critical to you, inconsistent, comparative, your body will associate female proximity with this evaluation of how safe that person is. So I'll give you an example. She will never admit this, but I truly believe that my success was something my mother can't handle. Now, there is a book, I forget the name. I actually have had a lot of clients read it about the narcissistic mother wounds. And a narcissistic mother wants their child, their daughter, to only be as successful as they have been. And they will resent them if they exceed that. So I would get comments like, oh, so now that you're rich, or oh, so now that you're making all this money, or oh, so da 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 da, right? Even things about my relationship, because my husband has had a pretty easy life. Like, he grew up in a country club, beautiful area, it's just a great community, but like even comments about that, oh, blah, blah, blah. And that jealousy, even when I was young, like that jealousy of my success as if it's wrong and something was wrong with me. Now I have a father who also was disabled, who was an entrepreneur, who never let anything get in his way. So I had these very different examples, right, of people, even though my mom will also be the first one to like brag about me, right? It's a very interesting thing. Anyways, again, if that relationship that you had with those women in your life felt very critical, very inconsistent, comparative, your body again will remember that. So even as an adult, you almost like your nervous system braces you like, okay, hold on, here it comes. Here comes that comparison. Here comes that criticism. I think about culturally, a lot of the clients that I work with I work with people in all different cultures from all over the world. And some of the cultures where the moms are so mean to their daughters. I mean, my mom's Italian, but I'm half Hispanic, right? And I've even seen it in Hispanic culture where the boys can do no harm, where the women are just treated like shit. Oh, mija, you've gained so much weight. Like, when are you going to find a husband? It's always like, when are you going to, it's never enough, right? And not just in Hispanic culture. I've seen this in Persian culture, like Middle Eastern culture. I've seen it a lot where it's just like, you're never enough, right? But your brothers are treated like fucking kings. It's so annoying. So anyways, the third is scale. Okay. So social media exposes us to thousands of women's lives daily. Now think about before this, we never knew what anyone was doing at any given time. Like, you would ask, oh, how was your vacation? And then they would say, oh, my vacation was great. And we wouldn't go into detail. Oh, my vacation, I went to, in the morning, I woke up and I had a Spanish coffee on the balcony where I ate, Spanish croissants with my husband. And then we, walked on you didn't go through all that, but now you know exactly what happened during that person's vacation. But also, not just vacation, we're exposed to different bodies, right? Different lifestyles, different income levels, or at least what is being presented on social media. And our systems were never designed to consume this much volume of information in general, let alone information that has been curated to be the highlight reel of that person's whatever, their life, right? So comparison is going to be very automatic. It's almost as if comparison becomes a way to organize all of that information in your brain, right? Comparison becomes chronic. It becomes, again, just a way for you to like make sense of what you're seeing, which is crazy to me. And then of course the animosity sets in. Are you tired of wasting your money on diet and exercise program that leave you feeling pretty much the same? You're spinning your wheels, but the food noise is still there, the body dysmorphia, the overtraining and not seeing results, the emotional eating, it's all still there. But you don't think you have an option because they're pretty much all the same. What if the next program you invest in combines therapeutic practice with exercise and nutrition science and behavioral change? What if this program focuses on what you say in your mind so that you can have a better relationship on what you see in the mirror? Hi, I'm Christina Hathaway, licensed therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, and I'm the founder of the Mindset of Matter coaching program. Here, we see your mind, your body, and your identity as one integrated system and treat it as such. We focus on your self-defeating beliefs and understand how they impact your behaviors and thus the outcomes that you feel stuck in. We do this through the Mindset Method, my psychological curriculum that I've curated with over 15 years experience and adapted it to you, the average woman, and this coaching program. This is one method, one program, one coach, and let's face it, the one area you've probably never done the work on. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels and wasting your money, check out the link below for more information. So there's actually research behind this. Social comparison theory that came out of the 50s shows that we evaluate ourselves against similar others. The more similar someone is to you, the more more that activates the comparison. Neuroscience also shows that social exclusion activates the same pain pathways as physical injury. So if you've ever felt excluded, replaced, or compared by other women, your brain encodes that as a threat. So when another woman activates you today, your body reacts before kind of your logic and reasoning sets in, right? Before it does. And this nervous system conditioning will just reinforce itself over and over and over again until either one thing happens, you're completely alone, you don't have those female friends to go to, and you're really struggling, or you decide, okay, like I've got to do something about this. Well, I guess that would help you decide that. I guess one of two things could happen. That's number one. Two is that you just continue miserable, blaming everyone else, blaming them, blaming the other women. Well, if she wasn't so, right? That's not cool. That's not cool at all. I want to share something, just how it manifests. I'm a part of a female business entrepreneur group, and I love them. And they're very supportive women. I've cried with these women. I've laughed. I've expressed my success with them. But for some reason, you guys, I have the hardest time finding my words when I'm in this group of women. And my brain has this weird belief that they're more successful than me, and therefore they don't want to hear from me. So then what ends up happening is that becomes true. I can't even fucking talk. Y'all, this is my job. My job is talking. Then I have this belief that they have no idea what I do, and they don't care to know what I do, because a lot of them actually hire outside of me, which I think is crazy, but whatever. I should probably talk to them about this. Actually, I am going to talk to them about it tomorrow on our call, just to say, hey, you guys are very interested in exercise and diet and nutrition. Like, this is what I do, and I care about you. And I think that that's important when you're hiring a coach. Anyways, it's just so interesting how I show up. And when I get off these calls, I feel, what do I feel? I feel crazy. I feel like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you acting like this? And I get mad at myself. And then then if I reach out to one of them individually, I can just speak like I normally do. It's crazy. It is crazy for me. And it's something I'm working on. So that's how it manifests, right? So we manifest into believing these things about ourselves, whether it's due to the scarcity conditioning, our attachment, just this social media and the scale of things we're comparing to, or a combination of all of those things. We end up becoming or doing the thing that we're afraid of doing, and therefore making true what we think is going to happen. So when you are in a place of comparison, you're going to act in a specific way. People are going to pick up on your energy, and they're probably going to be like, I don't like her energy. And then they're not going to want to talk to you. And they're going to be like, well, see, she thinks she's better than me. No, babe, you're acting like a fucking weirdo. Like, because you're acting from your self-defeating belief, right? Anyways, then we layer modern culture, right? We look at trad wives. Let's throw them into the conversation. We look at boss babes and entrepreneurship culture. We look at soft life influencers, right? We look at hyper-disciplined fitness culture. We've turned female choices into archetypes and they compete against each other, right? These archetypes become camps. Instead of saying to someone like, that's not my path, like that's not what I'm focusing on right now, it becomes like, that chick is crazy. She's brainwashed. She's lazy. She's regressing us back. She's obsessed, right? Often what looks like an opinion of someone else or a comparison or a critique of someone else is, again, a defense mechanism because you think, well, she's making homemade Pop-Tarts for her children. I just bought store-bought Pop-Tarts for my children. I see that she has a huge following on YouTube. She has a YouTube page. She's got sponsors. Am I doing it wrong? So instead of saying, that's not for me, that's not where I'm at, and accepting where you are at, you say, nah, she's fucking nuts, right? So when you're seeing that another woman's lifestyle activates you, like if you can recognize that, it's usually because that woman is challenging a sense of uncertainty in you. And certainty for us makes us feel really safe. We love to feel certain, right? Like I always tell you guys, we want things predictable, we want them to be comfortable, and we want them to be simple, right? So that kind of uncertainty, because again, society tells you like, oh, you're a working mom, like, oh, you should be home more. That's going to create uncertainty. And then you see the woman making the Pop-Tarts from scratch and the Doritos from scratch, and you're like, the fuck, right? So this can really create a sense of insecurity for so many women. I think too, this only exacerbates the concept of imposter syndrome for so many of us. When we do not trust other women, we cannot create community. We cannot create community. Or if we're ever trying to create community, it's filtered. You become what I call the shapeshifter. You start to act in a way that you think the others want you to act. You stay guarded. You get anxious. Like me, I somehow cannot recall my words. Like shit I say all the time too. And you become very lonely. And in leadership positions, in friendships, in leadership positions specifically, because like for me, I'm the only one in this. Well, I have my support team. Thank you guys. But like without them, I would be lost. I would be completely lost. And I don't only have my support system. I have my entrepreneur group. I have friends in the business. Like my friend Megan that I interviewed on this podcast just reached out to me. She's like, hey, I want to hire some coaches, and rather than, putting it out on social media, I thought I'd reach out to the women that I trust. So if you know someone, can you send them my way? I thought that was so nice, to like trust me with that. And I do have people that I'm going to send her way, but it can be very lonely if you are constantly in that comparison. Friendships too. And this is something that I've realized later in life, like a lot of my friendships were very surface level. A lot of my friendships were literally people who had similar vices as I did that used those vices to stay at a surface level. And then when you actually need them, they can't be there for you. Or if you act in a certain way that doesn't meet their needs, they will abandon you. Like that is my experience with a lot of these surface level friendships. Now, I'm not saying that all my friendships are surface level. They're definitely not. However, it's just very interesting that the women that I've grown close to, especially in my younger life, a lot of people I've been friends with for a long time, they struggle with emotional connection. But I think it's all because we came from those women who were hypercritical of us. So we kind of like keep each other at arm's length. I'm curious what you guys think about that. When we're in this, comparison, animosity, secret animosity, we really remain in a performance-based world. We don't crave that sense of belonging. We don't crave that sense of connection and vulnerability. We just keep performing because we want to be the best. Remember the scarcity? We want to be the one. We want to be the one that is so successful. And I mean, listen, guys, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. It's apparently emotional Christina episode. It makes me sad because I don't know, like, I want all my friends to be successful. For example, I just went to my friend's bakery and she started out of her parents' restaurant. And then she moved to this smaller location that was close to our house, and we'd go there, and like I try to support her whenever I can. And she moved to this really big space, and it was fucking packed. And I didn't tell her I was going. I just went and like posted it on my social media. And I just messaged her and I just said, I'm so proud of everything you've built. And that makes me feel so good to be able to say that. Because really, I don't know where I was going with this, but really all of us women who are high achievers, who are type A perfectionists, like we're already carrying so much alone. And you guys know that for me, it's been hard to ask for help because I don't think that people are going to show up. But as I put myself in these vulnerable positions and I create community and I move past the comparison and the triggers, or I recognize them, I am shown every day that people do show up for me, especially women will show up for me. Men have always shown up for me, right? In some fucking way. Not saying it was healthy, but they've always shown up for me. And like, I have a very strong relationship with my dad. And so for me to ask a guy for help was easy, but for me to ask a woman for help was hard because I was scared. Anyway, I'm not looking at my notes, so that's me going off on a tangent. So I want you to think about that, like this secret animosity that you might experience. And I want you to know, guys, like you're not a bad person for it, okay? But just recognizing that it does isolate you and there is a very deep cost to it. Like when you're thinking about what you don't have, how other people have more than you, why did they get to have it when I don't get to have it? You are not manifesting abundance in your life. You are manifesting loss and less thanness, and that you can't have it and everyone else can. And when you put your mindset to that, guess what? You're going to see more and more and more of it. If you believe that if she wins, you lose, that belief will cap your expansion every fucking time. It will cap you to wherever you're at right now. I promise you that. So what do? Well, first things first, we need to name the trigger. Name that it's happening without shame. It can feel very shameful to be critical, to compare, especially because you've experienced actual critique of who you are in your life, actual comparison, maybe jealousy from a mother, from a sister, right? I remember, you guys, I had this friend group in middle school, and because I celebrated my dance career, they would make me feel like shit. Like I'd be crying at sleepovers because they would like taunt me and criticize me about sharing, a win that I had or an award or wearing like a shirt, like a sweater for dance. Like they were such bitches. So, oh God, that just came up. Anyways, okay. Name the activation. Instead of asking yourself, like, why am I so insecure? Why don't you just ask, like, how is this a threat to my identity? Like, what about this is threatening to me? What about this is trying to protect me? And what is it trying to protect me from, right? The second is separate the choice from the judgment. And what I mean by that, if another woman is simply choosing differently than you, that has nothing to fucking do with you. It has nothing to do with you. I say this about politics too. While yes, I truly believe that there's certain people who we're now dealing with a moral issue versus a political issue. I'm going to put those people over here. But for most of us who have a difference of opinion, who are morally sound humans, our difference of opinion is based on our life experience. And no one's life experience is going to be the same as yours. Nobody. Like even your own siblings' life experience is not going to be the same as yours. And so you're going to develop your values, your morals, your choices based on that life experience. And you could look at the trad wives and a lot of these like mom influencers, like they have a different experience than you. I mean, look at me. I don't have kids, right? And they might look at me and be like, oh my goodness, she's a terrible person because she doesn't have children. No, I'm not. I shut them down when I say, well, I don't have a uterus. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, and then their next question is, why don't you adopt? I asked Mark if he wanted to adopt a baby, and he kind of laughed at me. So that's not happening. Anyway, if another woman is choosing differently than you, we're not judging. We're just allowing. Her path does not invalidate your path. Her path is hers. Your path is yours. Okay? So you have to realize that the choices you've made for your life are so right for you. And that's it. And hers are so right for her. And that's wonderful. Because I bet you at the end of the day, you guys both want the same thing. You want a healthy family. You want to be healthy yourself. You want, people to treat you with kindness and respect. You want to treat people with kindness and respect. You want love. You want connection. You want to feel safe, right? You probably want the same things when it really comes down to it. You just get there in different ways, right? Okay, so we're recognizing the activation. We're kind of creating that reframe of, like I did in that moment with that woman, we're like, no, she's not trying to compete against you or tell you that you're wrong or not smart, whatever. She's trying to connect, right? She's trying to connect with you. And that is okay. Then we're going to regulate our body. We're going to let go of our fucking jaw. We're going to slowly exhale. We're going to drop our shoulders. We're going to get into a stance of like good vibes. Because remember, when we're in that stance of comparison and like, she thinks she's better than me, bad vibes. No, we don't want that. We're going to teach our body that similarity to someone is not something that's dangerous to us. We're going to teach our bodies that this is a way of connecting. Wow. A lot of things I say to myself are, wow, what a wonderful time to connect to this human. I've had some experiences in the past few weeks where I got to connect with some older individuals. And one of the ladies was 76, had been married for like 50 years, 40 years, something like that. And like she said, you know what? One day you're just going to wake up, your kids are going to be out of the house, you're going to be retired, and you're going to decide that you need more stamps on your passport and you better take it. And I was like, thank you, God, for this conversation. And I was just like, I'm so happy to meet you. And I did that multiple times this particular evening where I had these wonderful conversations with these women. Then we're going to downshift, right? We're downshifting from competition to collaboration. Instead of asking yourself, like, do I measure up to this person? Am I smart enough to be here? Am I good enough to be here? Maybe look at like, what does her success make possible for me? Like, I love seeing women succeed, especially when they are working outside of the norm. So that sounds shitty, but I don't care. What I mean by that is like, for example, Michelle Carroll. I've had her on the show a couple times. I've been on her show. We're working outside the norm. We're doing something different. We're going against the Goliath, which is diet culture, and we're the David. And I love when I'm always commenting when she produces new research or she's published a paper. I want to make sure she knows, like, yes, I love this. And it becomes a collaboration when we work very well together, as well as it shows me that it's possible, right? It's possible to be a successful woman in an industry that wants you to, do the easy stuff, the simple stuff to keep you stuck. Whereas we're saying, no, we need to do the hard work. The reason why I think this is important for you all to hear is that inspiration and envy, they cannot be dominant at the same time. I personally would rather be inspired by someone else. I'd personally like to learn from someone else. And I'll tell you where this comes from. When I was probably 8 or 9 years old, my parents had a cafeteria at the IRS building here in Phoenix. And this woman, Johnetta Williams, she just took to me. And she would take me in her Mercedes. Was it a Mercedes? No, it was a Cadillac at the time. Driving in her Cadillac, and we would go to Scottsdale Fashion Square, and she'd take me to Dillard's. And whenever we'd sing, she'd feed me. Like, she just became a mentor to me. And she was one of the first African-American women to be in the executive branch at the Internal Revenue Services. She was college educated. She was a huge humanitarian. She gave back so much to Florence Crittenton, which is a home for girls here to help them rehabilitate themselves. And she just taught me that, I mean, her home, she was already successful. And then she won the freaking lottery. Like, I'm not joking. And she always just showed me, like, you can do more. And then we met up. She passed away 9 years ago. And before she passed away, we were able to meet up. And she just told me, she said, you know, I just saw your mom really struggled. And so I wanted to kind of pick up the pieces. And she did. And I'll never forget that, you know? And so I'm so thankful for that. Not everyone has that, but like I have that part of me that had that woman that said, you can do this. I want to inspire you. And I was inspired by someone who proved everyone wrong, right? A woman who proved everyone wrong. And I'm so thankful for her. I'm so thankful for her. Not to say it's not still a struggle, right? But through her, I was able to see what was possible, you know, when she didn't care. I mean, she didn't care. She wanted all the women to succeed, you know? So, inspiration over envy every time. So what can you guys do? I want you to journal about this. Who first made you feel like you had to compare? I mean, again, I remember my mom telling me like, well, you can do that better than her. Well, you can do that. And I get what she was trying to do there, but it felt very judgy, right? Where in your life have you felt replaced? If you ever have, where did you feel like, what did you have to do to feel chosen in your life? Answer these things, understand these things. We cannot change what we don't understand. And through that work, you're going to recognize that it was all bullshit. It was your own people around you's wounds that they projected onto you. It was intergenerational trauma that you no longer have to carry. You can feel connected, build community. You can fucking clap and praise the woman who is doing the same freaking job as you and say, we are doing amazing. Because when you do that, you're going to show everyone around you that there should be more of you. It's when we compare, it's when we isolate, it's when we think that there's only one of us that we're reinforcing that cycle. I said something early on. You think there's only one slice of the pie for you? Fuck that. We are women. We make the fucking pies. Bake your own pie and let her bake hers, and we will all eat pie mindfully and enjoy it. That is that. Real liberation isn't choosing trad wife or CEO ever. It's choosing you. Right? It's choosing who you are. It's standing in a room full of powerful women and not bracing yourself and knowing that you're supposed to fucking be there. It's celebrating someone else's success without sacrificing yourself. It's becoming powerful because you are in vibration with other powerful leaders. You don't become powerful by isolating yourself, my dear. You become powerful by understanding that other women are not your enemy. They're your mirror. So that's that. This was an interesting conversation. As I'm talking, all this shit was coming up for me. And I'm like, wow, thank you guys for the therapy session that I had with myself today. I hope you found it helpful. And you guys know what to do. Send this to your friends. Send this to the women in your networking group. Send this to that person that you are cheering for. And say, I want you to know I'm cheering for you. And that has been a healing process because I used to struggle with this. Share this. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. If you're watching me on YouTube, cry my face off. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can hit the follow button. That's super helpful for me. The more subscribers I have, the more that the algorithms push this out to other individuals like you. They have all of the data. They just need to see that people are engaged. So if you could do that for me, that would be so amazing. And other than that, I'm going to send you on your way, reminding you that what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. Goodbye.